guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a movie review. This movie is a horror film from Hong Kong, spoken in the Cantonese language with English subs, released in the year 2013, directed by Juno Mak, and this film is called Rigor Mortis. So Rigor Mortis is about this character, the main character, who used to be an actor, but the jobs for him have really, they've dried up, so he doesn't really have anything else to do, and he has a young son and a wife that he is separated from, and he's very depressed. So he goes to his new housing estate, which is a public housing estate. He's introduced to the security guard there. They're all very friendly, but it's a very depressing area. So he goes inside his room, he tries to kill himself, and he's saved by one of the locals. And so as the movie goes along, this guy, they're trying to kind of big up this guy who's very depressed, and trying to make him realise that there is the life is worth living. But at the same time, there is a history behind this certain room that he's staying in that has something to do with a mentally ill woman and her young son, who is very blonde. So all of this adds up to some supernatural forces that are working within the building, and there is another character that has something to do with bringing life back from the dead, and that all has grave consequences. So it's a very complicated sort of storyline. To prevent myself from giving away too much, if you want to know how the movie unfolds, please go out there and see this film for yours. Now my thoughts on Rigor Mortis. As I just said, this is a very complicated film. It does take a lot more than just one solid story. So for that, I could applaud it. But unfortunately for me with Rigor Mortis is that it does get a little bit complicated. I thought it tried a little bit too much with what it was trying to do. But having said that, that is not a massive criticism, because overall this was a very impressive film. I thought the visuals were very good. It had a very good atmosphere. It was very dreary, very spooky. This is quite a scary film. If you're familiar with J-horror, especially The Grudge, some of the demons in this film kind of remind me of that. And so the scares were pretty well done. It also mixes in action as well. So it's not really a boring film, and it does keep you on the edge of your seat. You're wondering what's going on. But as I said, for a film of this nature, I thought it has a lot going on. And it kind of felt that the movie wanted to be a fun film, but at the same time it wanted to be thought-provoking. And it is very thought-provoking, don't get me wrong. But I thought the action sequences were well done, and then it felt like two different style of films. So you've got this subplot that it does work, and it does make the film worth the effort, but I just thought that there were a lot of characters involved, and a lot of people will say that you're not going to appreciate this film as much if you're not familiar with ghost stories from China in the 80s. Now, there is a certain name for it, I can't recall it right now, but I'm not familiar with this. So when the ghosts start happening, there is a little bit of mythology behind it. So if you are from the Hong Kong area, then maybe you will appreciate it a lot more than I did. So there is a lot of backstory in it. I thought the characters were very interesting. I thought the acting was very good. The main character especially, he had a lot of demons with him, and the movie was actually a lot sadder than I thought it would be. And I actually could connect with each and every one of these characters, especially the mentally ill character. I thought she was really, really sympathetic. It does go into a flashback scene of what she was having to deal with in her life, and it was very sad, and it had a lot more of a gut punch than I thought it would. So emotionally, this is quite a powerful film, and it does take you by surprise. But as I said, the movie, it's fun in areas, it's sad in other areas, and it's very complicated. So it didn't feel like it really knew exactly what it wanted to be. I thought it was a straight-out horror film. It didn't need the action, some of the slow motion shots. It didn't really meet the mood that the movie had going for it as far as the storyline was concerned, because it's a lot deeper than I thought it would be. Now, some of the action sequences, although they are fun to look at, there is an over-reliance on CGI. I thought they used the CGI a little bit too much. There are some moments that look very fake, and a lot of people who criticise, this style of filmmaking are not going to really enjoy the action sequences. But if you can put that aside and almost treat this like an animation kind of film, then you're going to like it. I mean, the ghosts were well done. There is a few other subgenres as far as the horror films are concerned. I thought the continuity was very good. As I said, with a little bit more insight into the mythology, I could have liked it a little bit more. The soundtrack was very haunting, but the atmosphere is great, and Juno Mak really does a good job at creating and setting a tone. So Rigor Mortis, I hadn't really heard about this too much before, but I finally got the chance to see it, and I can say that I was happy with what I got. As I said, a little bit complicated, and it tries a little bit too much, especially with the ending. It's a very ambiguous ending, and I thought that the conclusions I drew from in the ending, I kind of looked at it from multiple views, and none of them really make that much sense. So I thought the ending was a little bit unnecessary, and that was the overall mood to the film. The ending really summed up what the film was. It was complicating matters when it really didn't need to. And so for a film like this, it could have been just a straight out action horror film and it would have been a lot of fun, but it does take a much deeper approach, and I can appreciate that. You know, I'm all for horror films that are very deep, but I just thought the deep sort of aspect of the film didn't match up to the fun aspect, and it just felt like, not an incomplete film, but a movie of different qualities that don't quite gel together. It actually feels like you're watching kind of two different films. So that was my biggest criticism of Rigor Mortis. But if you like your supernatural horror films that are very bloody, some of the gore scenes were well done, but there are, as I said, with the fight scenes, the blood is CGI'd as well, so there is a lot of CGI there, but I thought it was a pretty brutal film. And the CGI kind of adds to the charm of the movie. So overall, you know, Rigor Mortis is a fun time. I got a lot more out of it than I first thought. There are problems in the movie, but they're not massive problems. They don't derail the experience, and I'm sure a lot of you out there will like Rigor Mortis, even more than I did. So overall, for this movie, I'm going to give it 3 stars. Highly recommended. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching movies, and I'll see you later.